Hey, what's up, sports bettors? Matt here with OddsJam. In this video, I'm going to be giving a betting preview for one of the surprisingly really good games going on this week for the NFL in the Jaguars versus the Eagles. Eagles are the home team here hosting the Jaguars Eagles, obviously being one of the only 3-0 teams in the NFL. They are one of two, Dolphins being the other one. The Jaguars on a two-game win streak, impressive two-game win streak. They beat the Colts when they were like 8-point underdogs, something like that. They shut them out 24-0. Followed that up with a 38-10 victory against the Chargers. Kind of interesting. This is the second best team according to DVOA against the fourth best team according to DVOA, with the Jaguars being second, the Eagles being fourth. These are also two of the only three teams in the NFL that are top six in both offensive and defensive DVOA. So if you're just going off of the advanced analytics, two of the best teams in the NFL, literally the fourth and the second best team in the NFL, two of the top four teams. You wonder just how good both of these teams are when you look at their schedule. The Jaguars lost week one to the Commanders. The Commanders, by the way, are currently the literal last place team in the entire NFL. And then they beat two teams, the Colts, who we now know stink, and the Chargers, who we now know are banged up and also might stink. The Eagles are 3-0, but the three teams they've beaten are the aforementioned Commanders, worst team in football, the Lions, who just blew a pretty easily winnable game against the Vikings, and then that same Vikings team, who now sit at 2-1, but really haven't looked good since week one. So you wonder just how good these teams are. If you're going off of the advanced stats, very good. If you're going off of their schedule, jury's still out, but this should be a fun one. Another aspect of this, obviously, Doug Peterson is returning to Philly for the first time since being fired. Peterson, obviously, famously winning a Super Bowl for the Eagles. And I won't hide behind this. As you can tell, I am an Eagles fan. You can see the flag on the ground. You can see, wrong way, the pillow on the couch. I am, in fact, an Eagles fan, but I'm just going to be looking at the math, talking about the matchup, trying not to be biased really at all, hopefully not showing any bias. So the Eagles being money line, if you want to hop in their money line, the best odds you can get are minus 271. Not seeing really any value on that, obviously. I mean, minus 271 sucks. And if you look at all the other books, the average odds of minus 278 with sharp books such as Bet Online, minus 275. Bookmaker, minus 280. And then Pinnacle / OddsJam, sharpest line in the world, 271. No value there. Similar, unfortunately, no value if you want to back the Jaguars, best odds at plus 235, average odds at plus 229. Really not getting any real value across all of the books. So I'm going to sit out a moneyline play. Next thing, which I do find interesting, is the point spread. All of the line, every single book has this at 6.5. There is not one book that differs. Normally, when you look at main lines and stuff like that, normally there's either a half or a point difference between the books. Not the case here. Consistently across the board, Eagles minus 6.5. Because of that, unfortunately, there is no value play on the spread. Now, for me, for my own handicapping, my official prediction for this game is I think the Jaguars cover 6.5. I know I talked about their schedule, but I don't think that the betting markets have caught up to the Jaguars actually being good yet. And a touchdown, I know it's in Philly, but a touchdown is just too rich for my blood. I think it's going to be a close game. I trust Doug Peterson as a coach, and I don't think the Eagles are a full touchdown better than the Jaguars. The Eagles are obviously good. They're very good, but I think the Jaguars are pretty good too, and I trust Coach Peterson to have his Jaguars ready to play. And Trevor Lawrence might be good. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, they're good receivers. James Robinson, Travis Etienne, good running backs. They shored up the offensive line a little bit. They put in a ton of resources into that defensive line, which is now playing very well, obviously top 6 in DVOA. So I'm not touching this 6.5 spread here. Looking at the total, this is where you see a difference, right? 46.5, 47. Normally you see that with spreads, but obviously not in this case. So Bookmaker prices this total at 47, but they favor the under. Bet Online prices this total at 46.5, roughly even money. Really no play here. I know this is boring. No play here on the total as well. So all the main lines, I'm sitting these out. Obviously not just going to force a bet just for the sake of having one. If I had to guess, I would probably say this game goes under. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people think. So if I had to give an official prediction, I would take the under. But I'm not betting anything. What I will bet is a positive expected value play. So whenever I'm giving out betting previews and when I'm looking to bet a specific game, I do exactly what I did. I'll go through all the main lines. I'll look at some other stuff like team totals. I'll look at, but I don't really see any value here on any of the team totals. I'll look at like other player props and stuff as well. But the easiest way to do that is just to go to oddsjam.com, go to the positive EV page, and just look at all the positive expected value plays specifically for a game. So I control F Eagles, and it does look like there's a play on the Eagles first half spread -3.5. And this actually makes sense. If you look at how the Eagles have performed, they've been an incredible first half team. They scored 24 points in their last 2 games. In both of those games, all of their points came in the first half. In week 1, they're up by I forget the exact amount, but they scored majority of their points in that first half in week 1 as well. So they're generally a fast starting team. They have covered this 3.5 spread in all of their first half games so far. So I like this one. It makes sense from a handicapping perspective. Also makes sense from a math perspective if you compare all of the other books and what they're pricing this play at. So number one, to talk about the math, -105 is the bet on FoxBet, and I'll actually go ahead and lock this puppy in now before I forget, putting half a unit on this one. So if you're unit sizing at home, whatever half a unit is, that's what I put on this one. That's what I would recommend. -105 on FoxBet. With the VIG removed, OddsJam prices it. You see the no VIG odds here. OddsJam prices it at about -105.5. So not a huge gap between the no VIG line and the FoxBet line. But any situation in which you are beating the closing line is going to be a positive expected value play, is going to be a good bet for you to make. And just look at where every other book prices this play at. Every book that we have odds for, except for it looks like FanDuel and BetRivers, is favoring the Eagles side of this at -3.5. Betfred, -120. Jaguars side, +100. PointsBet, -125. +105. DraftKings, -135, +105. Tipico, same thing. And then you go to the sharper books, right? Bet Online, Pinnacle, same thing, favoring the Eagles at -105, -3.5, at -3.5. And we can get them at -105 on FoxBet. No other book thinks that the Jaguars covering the 3.5 spread is the more likely scenario, except for FoxBet. That's probably a bet to take advantage of, right? Whenever you are betting on sports, you want to take advantage of outliers, which is exactly what we are doing here for half a unit on FoxBet. So let me just add this one to my bet tracker, and that is going to be it. So that is my betting preview for the Eagles versus Jaguars game. If I had to give a prediction, I would take the under. I would take the Jags to cover the spread. But an official bet, let's see if I can finally lock this one in. It's going to be Eagles first half spread -3.5. Because that is a positive expected value play that I found on OddsJam. So if you are tailing this at home, lock this one in. I'd recommend it. And that's it. So appreciate you guys watching. Let me know any feedback you have, right, wrong, whatever, in the comments of the video. But that's it. So again, thanks for watching and have a good one.